All right, everyone, good morning. We are going to get started. Okay, welcome to all of my fellow shareholders and descendants. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 annual meeting. My name is Darla Graham. I am the Director of Stakeholder Engagement at CIRI. I'm originally from Anchor Point on the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska, and I am a proud CIRI shareholder and an enrolled member of the Ninilchik Village Tribe. Thank you for such a wonderful, warm, literally warm welcome to the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I can't thank you guys enough for ordering the weather that you have for us on this visit. I was telling people it was 41 degrees and pouring rain when I left Anchorage Thursday morning, so this is a delightful change in weather for us. I'm very grateful to be here with you all today. I very much enjoy any opportunity that we get to come down and visit our shareholders in the Pacific Northwest, so thank you very, very much for taking time out of your beautiful Saturday to be here with us. A special thank you to the Linwood Event Center here. This venue is beautiful. The staff has been amazing, and we are very blessed to host our event here in such a great space. We have a full agenda today, including door prizes, including some special youth voting prizes. So if you have any youth with you, make sure they stop by the programs table and put their vote in. We've got some great prizes. That's open for grades K through 6 and 13 to 17. So a few friendly reminders before we kick things off here. If you have not registered, please do so now. Registration will close at noon. In addition, if you intend to present a resolution for consideration at the meeting, it must be presented in writing to Mr. Michael Grisham, who's right here, raising his hand. And that must be no later than noon? Noon, yes. Please remember to include your name along with any resolution submitted. Quick housekeeping item, CIRI works hard to protect the identities and privacy of our shareholders and descendants, and this is a private meeting. So out of respect for your fellow CIRI shareholders and descendants and family members, please do not record or live stream this meeting. A recording of the meeting will be available on the Connect portal for anybody that was not able to be here in person today, and we really thank you for your cooperation on that. So with that, I'm going to introduce some local tribal representatives from the Snohomish tribe. We have Lisa and Cam coming to the stage to provide a welcome for us. All right. Thank you, Lisa and Cam.
Slachel twa gulapu de eshed. Cam seni saros tidstat, to all chad twalti Linwood, stohobs chad. Good day to all you honorable people. You folks are our relatives. My name is Cam Seni Saros. I live in what's now called Linwood, and I'm Snohomish. We, the Snohomish tribe of Indians, extend our hands and hearts in welcome to you, our Alaska Native relatives, both those visiting and those who now call the Pacific Northwest home. Ati duf ati swatuhted ati tabu to chachel to alturi tuhak. These are ancestral Coast Salish lands, lands that have sustained and guided our people since time immemorial. As you gather here, where the people have lived since the beginning, we honor the enduring relationships that connect us as Indigenous peoples. Our ancestors cared for these lands and waters through generations of stewardship, ceremony, and deep connection. And we cared for one another in the same way, intentionally building networks of kinship that extended our territories, allowing our communities to thrive well before the time of treaties. It is in this spirit that we receive you today. As Jo Ilchak Atiso Khachalap, we are glad you have arrived. As you walk this territory, we ask that you carry respect for the land, for the ancestors who continue to guide us, and for the living, vibrant cultures that remain strong today. May your time here be rich with meaning. May your presence bridge our communities, and may your connection to this place endure. Guajotjo elab chalap altis lachel. May you folks enjoy yourselves today. O but la chibitubu chach. We raise our hands to you in friendship and in shared strength. Hoyef Ched, thank you.
That was so beautiful. Thank you again, Lisa and Cam. We are blessed to be here on these lands, and we thank you for your stewardship of these lands. Okay, we have members of CIRI's probate, shareholder and descendant programs, and shareholder relations here with us today. You can identify them by the color of lanyard that they are wearing. Probate is wearing green, shareholder relations is wearing red, and programs is wearing purple. They will be here all day throughout the meeting to help answer any questions that you may have. And if you have any questions about gifting shares or ensuring you have a stock will on file, please visit the shareholder relations table outside. We also have members of the CIRI Participation Committee, or CPC we call it, here with us today. Can I have anybody in the room that's on the CPC stand and give a wave? All right, let's give them a round of applause. We spent the day yesterday meeting and having direct interaction with our executive team and members of our participation committee. And let me tell you, you have some amazing people representing our shareholders and descendants on that committee. And we had some great dialogue and got excellent feedback and ideas to implement in the going forward. I will introduce them individually later on in the program, but I wanted to have them stand and wave. If you have any questions about their experience on the committee, any ideas that they have, please visit with them today. We are pleased to have representatives from the CIRI Foundation, South Central Foundation, and Kawanak Broadcast Corporation with us today. They are also out front and have tables, so if you have any questions for them, I encourage you to stop by and learn about the program's benefits and services that they provide. I hope also, who visited the artist tables? Anybody make a purchase? Yes, round of applause for our artists. Artists will also be available throughout the meeting today. I have not had a chance to go look yet, but I definitely will. I have the utmost respect for our artists and the talent that we have amongst our shareholders and descendants. And if you haven't had a chance to stop by, I encourage you to do so as well. Art reflects our identities and it tells our stories. Alaska Native people have long used art to represent who we are, both as individuals and as a community. We already gave a round of applause, but one more quick one just because of the talent of our artists. I'd also like to make a quick plug for CIRI's art contest. We are currently accepting entries for our art contest. The theme of this year aligns with our annual report theme, which is Building the Future, Guided by Tradition. It explores how our ancestors' stories, lessons, and ways of knowing shape our modern self-understanding and identity. The deadline for the art contest is June 30th, so get those admissions in. The contest is open to shareholders and descendants ages kindergarten through adult. And there are cash prizes up to $500 for our first place winners in each category. Contest details can be found on the website. You're also welcome to stop by the programs table out front to learn more. We'll also have a photo contest later this summer, so please keep a lookout for that. Now, before I introduce our CEO, I'd like to take a minute to remind any youth in the room to do youth voting. We have 2 ballots, one for K through 6, one for ages 13 to 17. This is really intended to teach them, initially get them involved in a voting process and teach them the importance of voting. So we will announce those prize winners on stage later. We have 2 prizes for each of the 2 groups. So please encourage any youth that you have with you today, again, to stop by. Okay, and with that, I will turn it over to CIRI CEO Swami Iyer for some introductions. Thank you.
Thank you, Darla, and thank you all for joining us here today. I'm Swami Iyer. I'm your CEO of CIRI. Today we're going to hear from our candidates that are running for the board of directors, and you'll hear from them later as they give their speeches. I'd like to identify the board of directors that we have with us here today in the room individually. And today or throughout the year, I think you all should take your time and, if you can, meet with them and talk with them as they're here to serve you. The board members joining us here today, I'll start with Douglas Pfeiffer, our chair. We'll be hearing more from him a little bit later today. I don't believe Sam Spangler is here yet. We have Cynthia Muller, if she's here. She may come here later. We'll introduce her again. Carol Gore, our assistant secretary. Margie Brown, former CEO as well as a board member. Greg Craig. Where are you, Greg? I know you're here. There he is. John Estabrook Jr. There's John. Jeff Gonison. There he is. Lisa Huffman. There she is. Cheryl Mulcahy. There she is. Lou Nagy Jr. There he is. That's great. I'd also like to make a special thank you for their years of service from Michael Bowling and Rolf Dag, who will be coming off our board this year. You'll see, I think, Michael a bit later today. Rolf couldn't be here, but many, many years, 30-plus years of dedicated service to all of you and to the board and to the growth of CIRI. I just want to give them one round of applause and a moment of gratitude. We also have former board members here, Mr. Pat Mars, and a former CEO, Mr. Karl Mars. If there are any other former board members that I haven't had a chance to see you, please raise your hand. All right, then, so we'll move on. I'd also like to introduce our CIRI executive leadership team. These are the folks that work tirelessly every day to take on what has been a challenging year in the new administration and moving our strategy forward and progressing the growth of our cultural programs, our ANCSA mission, and of course, the profits that go to the distributions and the financial well-being of the company for now. And as I like to say, we measure our plans in centuries for the forthcoming future. First, our new president and CIRI shareholder, Tabitha Toloff. Our chief financial officer, Daniel Mitchell. Our vice president and corporate controller, Rhonda Oliver. Our vice president for mergers, acquisition, and ventures, Hyder Alabed. Our vice president of government relations and communications, David Broom. And the woman who needs no introduction and keeps us out of trouble, our chief legal officer, Stephanie Aker. So I want to take the opportunity to thank all of them and every one of the CIRI employees that work tirelessly to provide for this company. We have over 100 in Anchorage headquarters alone, but we have 2,500 around the country working in difficult situations, serving alongside our military under threat, taking dangerous work in environmental and nuclear radiation cleanups, building for the entire United States, multiple military bases around the world, and serving in those positions throughout the country. All of those folks, for many different reasons, but most importantly to serve you, put their lives on the line, work very hard, work extraordinarily long hours in Anchorage to provide for the mission, which is you. So one round of applause for all of those folks. I would appreciate it. Well, we're here at the Linwood Event Center for great food, and I'd like to thank the staff for putting on this event, Sonia and her team, Lori, Tad, Seth, and the catering folks that have been so gracious to put this together, as well as all the artists that are providing their hard work to you. So I want to thank all of them for being here today, and feel free to pat them on the back and buy their stuff. That would be really great. And I appreciate all of you for being here for that. Thank you. All right, so now it's time to kind of get to work. As many of you know, this spring we welcomed a new CIRI shareholder, Tabitha Toloff, as our new president. And as president, Tabitha oversees the CIRI's ANCSA mission, the operations. She spearholds the stakeholder and shareholder engagement, She provides strategic oversight on our corporate affairs and our shareholder and descendant programs, but most importantly, has been an invaluable river guide and consigliere to me and the senior staff as we build the future of the company, to do it within the conscience and needs of the shareholder base. We're incredibly honored to have her join us, and we're looking forward to working with her for many years to come. And what I will do is I would like to invite Tabitha to come up here and talk to you and tell you a few words. Tabitha.
Thank you. So good morning to my fellow shareholders. It's so nice that you came to be with us on this beautiful day. For those who are from Alaska, you know that this is probably one of the best days that we get during the summer. So those of you who live here are truly blessed to call this home, and we're really happy to be here. So I was born and raised in Alaska. My grandfather, my late grandfather, Charlie Toloff, was the first generation of original enrollees to our corporation, CIRI. I'm also a Salamadoff Native Association shareholder. I know we have some of our Salamadoff leadership over here, and an enrolled member of the Salamadoff tribe out of Kenai. My family is of Athabascan and Russian descent. Over the past 20 years, I've had a variety of jobs with CIRI. I was just so blessed and honored to be able to work for the company during times when Karl Marx was our president, when Margie Brown was our president, and our most recent president before Swami, Sophie Minnick. And so during that time, I really had an incredible opportunity to, whether they do it or not, observe their leadership and learn from them, and really kind of take what I loved about each and every one of them and brought it into my own leadership style. One of the most amazing jobs that I had was at the CIRI Foundation, where I was honored to be the program officer providing scholarships to our CIRI shareholders and descendants. I am a scholarship recipient myself, and I'm curious, I know there's people here who have gotten the scholarship. Can you raise your hand if you've gotten a CIRI Foundation scholarship or if you have a family member? That's amazing. They've done so much for our people and have given us so many opportunities, and that again was vision that was set through our CIRI board of directors a long time ago. What's incredible about our corporation today is we have invested a lot of resources into our shareholder programs. Darla talked about that. One of the programs that we have is the CIRI Participation Committee. Most of the members are here. You saw them raise their hands. We just had a meeting with them yesterday. And I was really amazed at how that program has come along. It was established back in 1995, and I remember when that happened. And today, it's actually shareholders and descendants who can be part of that program. So if you want to learn more about it, talk to Darla and our team and our program committee members who are here today. We also bring the youngest of our shareholders up through our company to learn more about what we're doing. Next Gen Day, our internships are just a couple of examples of what we're doing. But even before I got to CIRI in March, one of the programs that they introduced was called the YA Executive Program. And that is really an innovative way to bring up our young and incredibly talented shareholders and descendants who are motivated to perhaps be one of the next leaders, having my job, Swami's job maybe into the future. And with that, I want to introduce Jacinda Maynard, who is one of our first YA executives. She's going to share a little bit about her experience with you. I do want to say that we have one more, Lexi Trainer, who wasn't able to come today. She had a baby a couple weeks ago, so she's back at home in Alaska taking care of her new baby. I want to introduce Jacinda Maynard and have her share some of her experience with you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jacinda Maynard, and I'm really excited to be here today. I'm a Nupiaq. I was born and raised in Anchorage, and my family is originally from the Nome and Selawik area. I started with CIRI as an intern. I participated in the virtual mentoring program, and I'm really excited to be about 5 months into the YA program here at CIRI. It's been a really amazing experience to learn from the executive team at CIRI, work on some special projects, and receive some very tailored feedback so that I can continue to grow professionally. I'm going to be here today, so please feel free if you have any questions about the YAW program. I'm happy to chat more about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll be here all day too. If you want to talk to me, I'm happy to sit with you and talk and meet with you and know more about you. I have business cards that are just for you. It has all of my contact information. So I'm looking forward to talking to you today. Thank you.
Okay, so just a little bit more on the YAW program. When we started the program a couple of years ago, a year ago, we decided that we were going to find a way to bring CIRI shareholders onto the executive team. When I joined the company, there were none. Now we have Tabitha. We're going to have another one that we're going to announce soon, and we're building the future with the YAW executives. There are two today. They work on some pretty important things. This is not your simple internship program. This is truly people that are projected to be executives within CIRI within a very short time. In their first year, they're given real projects, real businesses to work on. Jacinda and Lexi are actually working on the Granite business. That business is the software that we developed that runs shareholder programs and relations, engages in distributions and financial accounting for not just our shareholders, but more than half of all shareholders in Alaska Native corporations. And they're growing that business to get on to do that for more. Potentially one day we could be the software and the company that does the development and management of shareholders, their distributions, and all of their work in one single company hosted by CIRI, thanks to the work of the YAW executives. They're also working on other projects to develop and grow the business for things that they may one day take over when they become executives, which happens only after the first year. So after 1 year of hard work, we put them into executive positions. One of the projects they're also working on is they were working with Connie and Jeff over at the CIRI Foundation to develop new scholarship programs for vocational and cyber programs, which we'll talk a little bit later. Since we bought this new cyber company, we now have hundreds of remote cyber jobs, none of which require a college degree, but a cyber certification. And now we have scholarship available for folks to switch their careers and become a cyber expert and get some of those white-collar, six-figure type jobs. So one of the greatest achievements of them is putting that together and working with the foundation to get that done. So they're not just students, they are actually executives making real change in CIRI for the future. After their year is complete, they will move into executive positions. You'll find that Jacinda will be in an executive position very shortly after she finishes the program, one of which you can all be proud of as she progresses up the ranks and as Lexi returns a similar program. And the goal is ultimately to replace me, right? The intent of my time here is to get CIRI on a path of growth and then move on so that a CIRI shareholder can stand here as a CEO once again. Hopefully I am the last one that you will ever see that is a non-native, and that is why we built the program. We're going to put 2 more on this year. We have over 50 candidates in the pool right now, most of which are strong candidates, many of which are CIRI shareholders, which is what we're focusing on. And then we'll do 2 more the year after that. We also have our intern programs, and we've started developing a new mid-career transition program so that we will have every generation of shareholder available to grow inside CIRI throughout its 45 states and 7 countries that we operate in, and its myriad of 50 businesses as they join the CIRI headquarters and then one day lead amongst their fellow shareholders. So it's a great program. If you know people that would love to be a part of CIRI and be a part of the leadership, please encourage them to apply. They get all of us in the executive team as their mentors, not for their career, but for their entire life. So not just when they're at CIRI. We will be there to mentor them. I will be mentoring them long past the days when I leave and Tabitha leaves and the rest of my team moves on. So this is truly something that's meant to support CIRI for generations to come. So with that, it's time to talk about CIRI a little bit. Talk to you about how we've done for the year. First I'd like to do is talk about in our commitment to grow the company, and our mission to serve the shareholders has never been stronger than it is today. We want to make sure we keep focus on that commitment. We have an Alaska Native Corporation that needs to be centered around the conscience, culture, and the beliefs of the people that we serve. We had a chance and an opportunity to be a part of a television program hosted by Ted Danson, the guy from Cheers, if you don't know who I'm talking about. Some of the young folks have no idea what I'm saying. It's fine. But where they explore new and innovative ideas and groundbreaking technologies to empower the business and the individuals that we serve. The segment focuses on our mission to promote the economic and social well-being of our shareholders and their families through strength and sustainability, traditional values and practices that have served Alaska Native people for generations. So we're going to play that video for you so you can get kind of an overview of what CIRI is and what you can be proud of. You'll see some folks in there me, which you're going to get sick of, Daniel, my CFO, but you're also going to have former CEO Margie Brown, who speaks very eloquently about who we are and what we're trying to do, and Doug Pfeiffer, our chair, about where we're going to move forward. So I hope you enjoy the video, and then after that's done, we'll get into some more stuff about the business going forward.
From jagged mountain ranges to dramatic glaciers, nature reigns supreme throughout Alaska, where its impenetrable forests, rugged wilderness, and untamed landscapes have earned it the nickname of the last frontier.
The terrain in Alaska varies very differently across its terrain than it does in the lower 48. The lower 48 has a larger, wide expanse between areas of mineral resources, energy projects that we can create, and urban areas. But here in Alaska, we have it still quite a large area, but all fairly condensed. And so we have urban area, businesses and things that we do. We have energy programs like wind energy that we can do here.
Alaska has an abundance of natural resources that are valuable, primarily oil and gas. We also have minerals, that being gold, silver, copper, zinc. We also have rare earth minerals, as well as timber resources, significant fish resources in Alaska, as well as our tourism industry. Even though that's not necessarily a natural resource, it certainly provides significant economic benefit to the state of Alaska.
As the largest U.S. state, covering more than 665,000 square miles, if Alaska was an independent country, it would be the 18th largest in the world. Today, the driving force behind the 49th state's continued success and economic well-being are Alaska Native corporations, pursuant to the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act.
The federal government was waking up to Alaska now that it was a state. And so in the late 60s, oil was discovered, and oil companies desperately needed to build an 800-mile pipeline, but they were crossing lands that had been legitimately claimed by Alaska Natives. So these claims needed to be settled. Scoop Jackson, who was the senator from Washington State, created a commission to come to Alaska and study Alaska Natives' use of the lands in Alaska. And it was sort of the backbone of what would become the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act.
Various industries have been strengthened in Alaska since the passage of ANCSA, creating jobs in both the private and public sectors, leading to increased employment and revenues.
Within the act itself, there is a structure. There's a set of regional corporations, 12 of them land-based in Alaska. So that structure was put in place to determine how the land would be distributed, and based on your population, there were certain formulas that allowed regions to know what their land entitlement would be. And so we ended up with about 6,200 shareholders from all different cultures, tribes, any that are in Alaska are represented in our shareholder base.
As one of the 12 land-based Alaska Native regional corporations created pursuant to ANCSA, CIRI remains focused on strength and sustainability through the traditional values and practices that have served Alaska Native people for generations.
We sprung into life because of land, and so we are very respectful of the land. And so for many people, CIRI and its organizations that it's spun off, it's their touch point to reconnect with being Alaska Native, but also learn about who they are and where they come from. That's very powerful. And so we always try to honor that.
CIRI has pursued a sustainable, technologically advanced investment opportunity through its development of Fire Island Wind. We've got 11 wind turbines. That facility helps to provide energy to the equivalent of approximately 7,000 households. So that was an innovative project that was put into place back in 2012. Currently, however, we are pursuing additional opportunities, one of which is through a private equity partnership, through a co-investment in vessels that transport and can install wind turbines in offshore wind installations in European sea locations.
Today, the corporation's diverse and strategic investment portfolio benefits its shareholders and their families, which includes investing in renewable energy.
Alaska Native corporations, their shareholders and their descendants are very connected to the lands and resources. We're able to take a very measured approach to developing energy in the state and protect those natural resources and the lands that belong to our shareholders and descendants.
Innovation's key, and I think it starts with leadership. So it's got to flow from the top down in the company and kind of permeate throughout.
With cultural values that drive how the company operates, the tough spirit of the Alaska Native people has led to great achievements and growth.
We have over 20 different companies that are contained in different groups like environmental remediation, engineering, construction, cyber, things like that. Each of them have their own modern technological innovations that help produce a better product or a better service for the government.
Prudent stewardship of the company's resources continued to promote the economic, social well-being, and heritage of its shareholders, helping to further self-sufficiency now and into the future.
CIRI's been looking at scaling its entire business in a new and kind of innovative way in terms of multi-generational prosperity and deep cultural connection benefits. What we're doing is we're buying more companies, we're expanding our current companies. The profits we generate from that are more cash-driven and higher growth markets that goes into creating shareholder benefits like distributions, new programs, new cultural things that we can do.
We've always led change for thousands of years in our culture, whether it's our environment, which we've adapted to. Business is not any different. You have to adapt to your current conditions and move forward. And it doesn't matter whether it's technology or some other form of business that we're in. You have to look at it as what's going to happen in the future. Where might that business be at? Renewable energies such as wind power, solar are great investments. But 50 years from now, they could be obsolete. We don't know. So we always have to be on that cusp and look and innovate and keep that in mind for our stakeholders because, again, this is a multi-generational company.
Okay, great. So at last year's annual meeting, we talked about what we were going to do in 2024, and we discussed the need to focus on company growth, more profits or earnings, and cash. And a year later, I'm happy to report that we had a very busy and a very successful year. We were able to significantly improve our profits and nearly double our cash by taking the time to stabilize the company under the new leadership, prepare ourselves for scaling operations, meaning buying more companies, growing more businesses, and improve the operations inside those businesses so that they're more profitable, that they create more cash from the work that they do. We started growing our, what we call our active investments. These are operating companies as opposed to passive investments where we invest our money into funds and things like that that kind of grow over time. And we pivoted away from that so that we can actually create more of that growth that generates more cash, that increases our distributions, which we will talk about later today as we've had the largest distribution increase in 10 years as a result of the work that we've done this year. As we go forward and grow and improve those businesses and get that cash and that profitability for distributions, not only for today, but we're going to take some of that same money and invest it in CIRI so that it's here for decades and decades to come. So a good portion of our money goes to you today to fund programs that we're going to talk about some new ones today. And for your distributions, and then the rest of it goes back into CIRI so that it's there for your children and the future. And while we're about 9,500 or so shareholders today, through gifting and inheritance, we're soon going to be at 10,000, and there's another 17,000 or so, or 18,000 descendants beyond that. So we're going to have a large population to support for the next 100 years. So investing today and providing for you today are important things so that the future is there for them when we get there. So as we continue to increase and grow our company and execute this strategy, we'll have more meaningful distributions and quality programs to provide you. One of the investments that we did as an example is we bought a new cyber company. The name of the company is OSC Edge. You might have seen some of that in the social media and within the annual report. That company was able to bring hundreds of new employees, and now CIRI stands today as a global enterprise of 2,500 employees in 45 states and 7 countries around the globe. And for the first time, the sun does not set on anything that CIRI operates. Our companies are around the world, and you'll see them. If you go outside, you'll see a map of where they are and what they do. There is no shortage of purpose for our employees, the primary purpose obviously being to serve our shareholders, our ANCSA mission, but many of them are standing alongside the warfighter, defending the country. Some of them are cleaning up the environment for a better tomorrow. Many are working on the infrastructure within the United States to modernize and grow everything from our civil infrastructure to our military infrastructure, our military bases. So everyone has a reason and a higher purpose for working here, but they all take that time, they all put that effort, they all take that risk on a personal level in order to meet the needs of our shareholders and descendants. So with that, I'm going to introduce Daniel Mitchell. to come up and start talking through our financials, and then we'll get into the rest of the program today, and then we'll have Q&A, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Daniel Mitchell, CIRI's Chief Financial Officer. I oversee finance and accounting, information technology, and energy departments. I'm also responsible for the company's tax planning and compliance programs and actively support the company's investment efforts. I'm here today to walk through some of the key financial performance data for 2024. In 2024, we increased revenues by 10% from $560 million to $616 million. Increased earnings 40% from $47 million to $65 million, while increasing cash flows almost 100%, 92%, from $26 million to $50 million. At the same time, our asset base grew by $24 million. As Swami mentioned, as a whole, 2024 was a year of growth and stabilization for the company. CIRI revamped our investment strategy to grow earnings and cash flows, while optimizing the performance of existing operating segments and seeking to increase ownership of wholly owned, high-performing operating companies. Overall, CIRI's operating segments produced positive results in 2024. These positive results were led by our government services segment with improved margins, strategic contract bid and proposal efforts that leverage the segment's core strengths, and best-in-class cash flow conversion. We had strong performance from our energy and infrastructure investments in energy production projects within the United States, a sale of land in natural resources segment, one that CIRI views as an opportunity to strategize and settle its land selections in a broader way that honors CIRI's rights to land under ANCSA and provides benefits for the greater Alaska community, and strong public market performance that positively impact the investment securities and private equity portfolios. These strong operating results, coupled with the proceeds from the sale of marketable securities, the sale of real estate development assets, and capital return from private equity and other investments, generated $155.9 million of cash in 2024. $85 million of these proceeds were invested in a new business, as Swami mentioned, OSC Edge. $24.1 million was placed in new private equity funds, and $26 million was allocated for shareholder distributions and programs. The OSC acquisition is the first in a series of acquisitions of high-performing operating entities that can grow the company's and earnings and cash flows into the future, while displacing CIRI's reliance on less than wholly owned investment activity. The team looks forward to continuing to execute the company's growth strategy through acquiring future high-performing companies and optimizing CIRI's enterprise culture. Thank you very much.
Okay, next I'll bring up our chair, Doug Pfeiffer, who will talk to you a little bit of our new distribution growth, as well as an exciting new development in a program that we were able to create because of our growth this year. So, Doug.
Hello, shareholders. Thank you for being here. I always like to start off by giving our elders a round of applause in the room. Yes. For those of you that don't know me, again, my name's Doug Pfeiffer. I have the honor of chairing your CIRI Board of Directors, and it's, again, my honor to be here before you. I'm Tlingit Indian. My family originates from Southeast, original enrollee of CIRI, and then also an enrolled member of Tlingit Haida Tribes of Alaska. Looking out to the shareholders in our presence reminds me of my own family. My mother's 80, an elder, and if you know Tlingit women, very feisty growing up. A strong woman, has lots of advice for me as your CIRI board chair. And then our youngest daughter in our family is 23. So I have the elders, and then we have the descendants that become shareholders. So really, my own family is a reflection of our own shareholder base, which always makes me proud and honored to be a director for you, taking into account how we bring descendants and new shareholders in and how we treat our elders. It's a tough job for us. It's a tough job for you, but we do our best to do it. So I know my mom's not here, but I always have a shout out for her because she taught me so much growing up. So with that, I'll talk to you about your 2025 distribution calculation. As you heard from Daniel, we had positive financial results. which is good for the bottom line. But just as important, I'm proud that CIRI is a company that also delivers on its promise, one that is open and honest and continually seeks to better the lives of our shareholders. In 2024, we successfully overhauled the company's financial strategy, rendering the single largest annual increase to shareholder distributions in the last 10 years. In just 1 year, shareholders' distributions went up 14%. And if you think about it, that's pretty remarkable. This would not have been possible without the board's decision to revise the distribution policy. The change in policy stems from a breakthrough year in profitability and cash flow for CIRI. Under the previous calculation, shareholders would have received a total distribution of $41.67 per share. Instead, under the new policy, the CIRI Settlement Trust will issue annual aggregate distributions to shareholders totaling $45.87 per share. I hope it is clear that the change in distribution policy was made to benefit the shareholders, and a fixed amount rather than a percentage of shareholder equity means more money in your pocket. Compared to a percentage-based approach, a fixed amount provides stability for shareholders while the company manages its current challenges and pursues new opportunities. While the new distribution policy will remain in effect until it is modified by the board, it is absolutely not a cap. We've had much discussion, you may have seen, on your distribution being capped. It certainly is not. And again, the boards will answer any questions out in the lobby after, discuss it more if you would like. Your CIRI Board of Directors, again, will continue to track the company's financial performance. As you've heard from Swami and our team, we're in a process of recalibrating investments, kind of changing the forward trajectory of our company. So the board's very aware of that. Our team's very aware of that. We talk in depth at board meetings. So things ebb and flow and can change, but that's where we are today. Your board's strategic decision-making is focused not only on the business aspects of our company, but on the insight, concerns, and priorities of our shareholders as well. Listening to our shareholders' perspectives and responding effectively to your questions and feedback is one way we demonstrate responsibility and accountability to those we serve. And with that, for several years, this is some news that shareholders have been asking for. They've asked to help manage financial burdens for funeral and burial expenses. I've talked to many shareholders in the past, whether it's Anchorage, Seattle, on the Kenai Peninsula, and they always ask, can CIRI help with burial funds? It's a great question, and my answer and the board's answer was, we'll dig into it, let's find out, let's find a solution for our shareholders. So we have heard your concerns, and I'm pleased to announce that on behalf of the CIRI Board of Directors and trustees of the CIRI Settlement Trust, we have established a new program, ADA Honor Program, to help defray the cost of burial and funeral expenses for the families of deceased shareholders. Families are now eligible for $2,500 with an additional $500 to be given if the deceased shareholder has a stock will on file. I know you've heard a lot to have your stock will updated on file. Please do that. Again, with this program, there's an extra $500 if that's on file with CIRI. The ADA Honor Program is available to families of deceased shareholders regardless of whether the deceased was an original CIRI enrollee or was gifted or bequeathed shares, and whether or not shares came with voting rights. Our CIRI family is diverse, and the program acknowledges that diversity. There are no income or residency requirements for either the deceased shareholder or the applicant. The ADA Honor Program is available to all families of all shareholders to help ease their financial burden in times of grief. Basically, anybody can apply, shareholder-related, for the program. Applications will be open July 15th, 2025, and may be submitted for losses occurring on or after January 1st of this year. Going forward, families will have 180 days from the date of a loved one's passing to apply. Funds may be dispersed directly to the family or to the funeral home crematorium directly. The application can be found on the CIRI website no later than July 15th. Payments can be made directly again to the funeral home or to the applicant. We have put together a short video about the ADA Honor Program, including eligibility, application timeline, and funding amounts.
CIRI is honored to introduce the ADA Honor Program, a new program grounded in the spirit of ADA, a Denina word meaning care, love, and kindness. Approved by your Board of Directors and Trustees and funded through the CIRI Trust, this fund reflects our commitment to supporting families in times of loss. The ADA Honor Program was created to help families of deceased shareholders with burial and funeral expenses, offering $2,500 with an additional $500 if a CIRI stock will is on file. The program is available to all shareholders' families, whether the shares were original, gifted, or inherited, because our CIRI family is diverse and every life deserves to be honored with dignity. There are no income or residency requirements. CIRI is committed to supporting its shareholders with care and compassion. Applications open July 15th and will cover losses dating back to January 1st. Moving forward, families may apply within 180 days of a loved one's passing. To apply, visit ciri.com/ADA program. Funds may be sent directly to the funeral home or the family. In times of grief, we stand with you. The ADA Honor Program is one way CIRI is here to help, because honoring our loved ones is part of who we are.
So that video voiceover was done by Teresa Thiel, and I think Teresa's back in the... go and stand up, we'll give you a round of applause. Thank you, Teresa. And while it is a sad subject when our fellow shareholders pass, I think this was long overdue for CIRI and our shareholders. So thank you to our management team, our board of directors, and obviously shareholders for bringing this to light to us. This is one example of your board of directors listening, finding a problem, and finding a solution. I'm proud that CIRI has this, and I think it'll be very beneficial to shareholders moving forward. Again, before I depart the stage, I want to let you know we have our fellow directors here in the audience. We'll be out in the lobby. Again, please, if you have any questions whatsoever for the board, what we do, things that you've heard, maybe misconceptions. I was at the CPC meeting yesterday. They asked fabulous questions. Happy to answer anything. If we don't know their answer, we'll get you the answer, so don't worry about that. On behalf of your board, appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to begin our question and answer session. I'm going to ask the ELT to join us on the stage. And again, thank you, Doug, for talking about our new distributions and our new ADA Honor Program. In addition to our CIRI team, we have representatives from South Central Foundation, the CIRI Foundation, and the Broadcast Corporation here to answer questions, and they're ready to jump in as needed. If you have a question, please raise your hand and someone will bring you a microphone. Please share to state your name and confirm that you are a CIRI shareholder before asking your question. And to ensure everyone has an opportunity to be heard and as many shareholders as we can get today, we ask that you only ask one question at a time. And then I'll try and restate the question, or one of our members will, the ELT, so we can get through this Q&A session efficiently, answer your questions thoughtfully, and we'd like to try and get this to be concluded in about 11 o'clock or so. So, with that, let's let her rip.
Hello, CEO. My name is Evelyn. I'm a CIRI shareholder. I have a question about monies that are coming in. The financial officer showed us a slide about the new amounts. Why is that up there? Why is the old amount a certain amount and the new amount is a little bit higher? Why is it fixed?
Are you talking about the distributions or the prop? Okay. You can call me Swami. Nobody calls me CEO. That's fine. That's fine. The previous amount for the distribution was based on a formula that calculated based on the size of CIRI how much money would go into the distribution. The thing about that is the larger you grow CIRI, if it doesn't make more cash, in other words, you could have a giant multi-billion-dollar company that loses money, and then you don't have the cash to actually pay the distributions. The new system allows us to make more cash, understand how much cash we have, to grow the future, so invest and buy more companies to make more cash, and how much we can distribute, as well as create programs like the ADA Burial Rights and Honors Fund. So the new formula actually produces better results to get you more distributions than the old formula did. So the old number was smaller. The number you would have gotten is smaller. The one that you have now is 14% bigger, which is the biggest that it's been in 10 years of a single increase. If the board hadn't had the wisdom to think through how do we actually produce the thing we need to take care of families today, we would not have been able to have done that by allowing us to move into those businesses. So this is more money than we would have gotten in the previous way. And it'll continue to be that way as we think thoughtfully going through the years and building the company. It's not surprising that this is a very weird and difficult year. And we're still growing, and we're still doing better than we thought we would. So as we do better, as the board thinks thoughtfully through how we distribute to the future for your children so that CIRI is there producing dividends, and what we do today to take care of you today, this actually produces more in distributions and is a better result. Darla, someone over there?
Good morning. My name's Diane Napier. I'm a descendant shareholder. My grandmother was Tatiana Stepanoff. And I'm wondering, we have 2,000 that were allotted each year through our native corporations when we're on Social Security. Is that ever going to change because of the, with the budget and everything and the inflation? It's been $2,000 that we're allotted each year. Wasn't that going through Congress or something at one point?
Is that a Social Security? That's not from CIRI. That's from the Social Security Administration? Low-income benefits for Social Security?
No, it's money that we're allotted each year, the 4,000, whatever it is. We're only allowed $2,000 with Social Security each year, and after that it's deducted through our monies that come in. Do you know if there's anything that's going to change with that, maybe?
Stephanie, I'll let you
Or is there
take that.
any?
There's been several efforts in trying to get legislation passed to increase that amount, either through a CPI auto-adjusting every year. Currently, the ANCSA Regional Association is taking that up and trying to work with our senators, but we haven't been successful to this point yet. But we're working on it. There's all 12 regional corporations that have our eye on this.
Okay, so not just a CIRI issue, and it's one for all the agencies. All the agencies are now talking in ways that we hadn't been before. So, and our new lobbyist, David Broom, is there. So he'll be working with Stephanie and the Legislative Council to work on trying to find a way to make that better. Where else? Do we have another microphone moving around? Here we go.
Yeah, that's on. Okay. My name is Tone Hicklin. I have a question about the burial program. Will you be including non-native shareholders who inherited their shares?
So you want to answer that, Tabitha?
Yes, all shareholders are going to be eligible for that program.
Hi, I'm Rose, and I'm an original CIRI shareholder. And I've lived in Anchorage, Alaska for over 50 years, and recently, 5 years ago, I moved to the Kitsap County across the water. And do you think CIRI will ever support shareholders that do not live in the state of Alaska for medical assistance and medical care? Because right now I'm getting care from the Port Gamble Sklallam tribe.
Sure, it's a good question. We get that a lot. First, it's probably, and Rose, thank you for your question and for being here. First off, the way that the medical benefits are distributed, I'm going to keep it somewhat simple because it's somewhat complicated. But the federal funds that are given to a particular tribe or group to provide medical services are there for any others that would come in and use that service. But CIRI can't control those services outside of its own region. That's just the way the law is set up. So we can provide it for those in our region. We provide it for our shareholders, other Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, and shareholders of the other ANCs that come into the hospital in our region. Here you have a region where it looks like one of the other Native corporations or groups are providing it as well. For us to extend outside of our region takes actually legislation and work for us to be able to try and do that. We are looking at that. We're having conversations of what ways we might be able to do that. But to do that, we're going to have to probably change some legislation, another conversation that the ARA and the other 12 ANCs are talking about. But that money doesn't come from CIRI. It comes from the federal government. And as such, the federal government expects it to be distributed to anyone that's Native American, Alaska Native, or Native Hawaiian. But we don't control that process. We don't fund it either. So it doesn't come out of your money, it doesn't come out of your distributions. Do we want to see equal access to health care for all Alaska Native and Native Americans? Yes. Can you go to any IHS hospital in the country and receive free care? Sure. Is it convenient and where you need it to be? Not so easy, right? And we do understand that. Right, no, I understand that. No, and I understand that. We do know that they don't cover the specialist care out there. Again, not something we can force or make happen, but we can try to work with the government and find ways to provide that care. But we're not alone in that problem. All the other ANCs face it as well, and we're having those conversations with them. But it's not something CIRI can solely by itself change across the nation. We are aware of it. We are working on it. And if you have more input, details you'd like us to understand about the actual customer experience that you're having when you're going to try and get your care and how that works for you, we would love to hear it, because that all feeds our story when we go to the Hill. And you'll see that David and I and Stephanie, we're in DC all the time talking about these issues.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Campbell. I was wondering, what programs do you currently have to ensure our youth do not lose Native American traditions?
I'm going to turn it over to Tabitha because that's her new job.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please? Sorry.
What current programs do you have so that the way our children don't lose Native American traditions like basket weaving and things like that?
Yeah. Thank you. So under the leadership of Darla Graham, who is our Director of Shareholder Programs, we have actually instilled culture into a lot of our programs. One in particular for the youngest of our kids is Darla, help me out here. What's the name of the program?
Next Gen Day?
Next Gen Day. And that's where we bring our youngest of our kids into the corporation. And they don't just learn about the business of the corporation, but we also do things like beading and drum making. I know that Darla and her team takes them out to our tribal members' sites, the Nilchik, Chickaloon, Kanik, all of those. And so we expose them to our culture to the degree that we can. If you want to talk to us too after this, and if you have more ideas or things that we can maybe incorporate to better infuse to our lower 48 programs, we would love to hear about that.
Great.
Hello, my name is Dolly Rivera. I'm an original shareholder. And I had a question because I was confused about, to me, it seems like you capped our dividends, and why weren't we able to vote on that?
Okay. It's Dolly, is it? Yeah, Dolly. Okay. It is not a cap. There is no cap on your dividends. It's simply the way we calculate it. And once we calculate it, it stays there until we calculate it again every year as we look at our money and we decide how we want to apportion it. And it will go up as we start to make the company more profitable. And the board is absolutely committed. They push us very hard to make sure that we can keep producing. There might be some years where it stabilizes and then it goes up a couple of years later, but it'll be these nice, significant jumps as we understand what it is that we've done with the company. The company has to rebalance itself. We had the world's kind of a large, beautiful, passive investment portfolio, a lot like your 401ks. And you can have a lot of money in your 401k, but it doesn't help you pay your bills, right? You need money, and the 401k doesn't do that. So you need something that produces active income, like a salary or something. And so our companies do that. We need to buy more of them, and we need to make the ones that we have make even more money. So as we start to rebalance that, that gives us the ability to produce more in dividends. In fact, a lot of the money went to the dividends, and a lot of money funded the honor program, millions of dollars to fund that for years. That's how we do it. It's a more thoughtful, sophisticated way to make sure, but it is absolutely not a cap. We are all absolutely committed. My existence depends on making sure that we can make it better for you. It's why we were here. So, no, not a cap. It's not something that is voted on, as I understand the way that this system is governed. It is the board of directors who you elect, which you'll be electing today. I have 15 native shareholder bosses, and every one of them makes sure I know exactly what you're thinking. In fact, even the CPC, there were 30 members from every walk of life who sit there and talk to us in excruciating detail about everything that concerns you, so we don't miss your voice. And then we're here, so we can hear all of your thoughts and concerns. But not a cap. We are committed to its growth, and it's growing. It has grown faster this year than it has ever done in 10 years, and it will be that kind of mindset that we take forward. I can't promise you big numbers and specific numbers because they won't let me, but we're going to do it, and I think you're going to be happy with the results. I understand. Yeah, it can be. We have to work better on our communications and our words around it, but we'll get there.
Hello, my name is Peggy Shelb. I submitted some questions on the phone when we registered, but am I supposed to ask? I thought you were going to. Is there a time you're going to address the questions that we submitted online?
We should have the submitted questions ready to go.
I can't hear him.
You have.
Do you want to go ahead and ask?
Go ahead and ask your question now.
Okay. I'm an original shareholder, but when we all signed up, our parents were very concerned because there was a deadline, everyone had to do it. So if our mother signed up in one corporation, our father signed up in another corporation, I signed up. I had a son that should have been the original shareholder, but they didn't accept my application. They accepted my father's. So some of my brothers and sisters belong in one corporation, and I ended up in CIRI. But what about the people that were eligible but didn't get accepted because of the signing in for it? They didn't accept my application for me and my son.
Tabitha, do you want to address that?
I'm actually going to pass this to Stephanie, our attorney, who probably has really good information on that.
I was just going to say, how about if I follow up with you after this Q&A so I can get some more specifics and better address your question?
Okay, we'll come sit down with you and figure out what's going on. Does that sound good? Okay. We have one over there, Sonia, if you work that way, but we'll go with Lori's first. Did you find someone, Lori? Okay, I think we have one right there.
Right behind you. Oh, hi. Hi, I'm Audrey Grant. I'm a descendant shareholder, and my question I did submit as well. My question is, should we have concerns that the current administration is negatively affecting our communities?
Thanks. This is recorded, right? Okay, this is going to be great. I will not sugarcoat that this is a different time. I don't think I've seen this much change and tumult that in quite a while. Certainly, there are things we could read and think about that might not be amenable to Native concerns. And that's, truthfully, that is happening in some places. The Western Apache are going through a similar problem. Here's our philosophy. If you can take the lead and be proactive in the situation and move the momentum in the direction of our benefit, like when we're trying to develop our resources for the pipeline or Johnson Tract on our terms, on the terms that matter to our sovereignty, our cultural needs, our indigenous rights, as well as subsistence and the environment, and control that conversation and move the momentum in the way that we want it to, that is the better way to go about it. I'll brag a little bit about our new Vice President of GR. He comes from those administrations. He was an inside man. I hired him specifically so that we would be more sophisticated and a lot more savvy about how we do this. So it's always better to use your opponent's momentum in your favor, and that's what we're going to go do. Are we going to win every single time? Probably not, but we are definitely going to fight for the things that matter to us. It is probably easier to pull it off that way than to stand in direct opposition and then have them make very drastic decisions that we would not like. Some have tried, and we've seen some pretty negative results. So we're going to be smarter about it, I guess is my answer to you. And we'll keep you up to date every time something happens. If you might have seen, I sat down with the Secretary of Interior just a couple of days ago, then with the senators, and talked specifically about the things that matter. And one example of where we were able to do something, not by ourselves, but with our other partners and other ANCs, there was a big anti-DEI diversity movement. An executive order went out that said, stop it all, turn off all the business opportunities for everybody. We were able to, in writing from that administration, from the SBA administrator and the President's cabinet, to say Alaska Natives, Native Americans, and Native Hawaiians are specifically excluded from that problem. We are not, in writing, we are not considered part of the DEI or anti-DEI efforts. That was our first victory. Hopefully more to come. Anybody else? I think we've got about maybe 4 or 5 more minutes, so.
Hello, I'm Carmen Grace Marie, granddaughter of a reindeer herder, boat builder, sled builder. First of all, I'm doing my best to hear the questions and the answers. I don't know if anybody else is, but that's why I'm standing up, hoping everybody can hear me. I think one of my concerns is I am so grateful for our leaders, and I want our corporation to continue to stay ethical and prosperous. And one of my concerns, and maybe I don't quite understand, I appreciate that we are getting a fixed amount of our distribution, and that we know what our distribution is going to be. But I don't want us to just get stuck in that. I want to go back to the time when we could have an unexpected huge windfall. But by the same token, I'm doing my best to understand the distribution. And I really appreciate, I can't remember which representative said that not to get stuck in, the current knowledge of technology, that at this point, this is working now, but we're going to work to the future to improve and to learn more so that we can become more prosperous. Thank you. Thank you to our leaders. That's it.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. We are not here to get stuck. That is the whole purpose of the strategy that we built. The companies we've just bought are engaged in artificial intelligence and growth in cybersecurity. The companies we're about to buy are going to be engaged in the growth in better manufacturing technologies, better environmental technologies. We are technology focused and we are growth to the future. I think if you remember from the video, our chairman Doug even said that what we do today may not be the relevant things that we do tomorrow. So we are constantly looking at it. One example, just to give you a sense of that, we started a new accelerator program, the Stellar program, as well as the Orbital Accelerator Edge program. That is 200 different technological startups joining. CIRI started it. We partnered with the International Space Station. Big companies like Northrop Grumman, JP Morgan, BCG have come in and brought their money as well. And we are funding new technologies that CIRI will benefit from and potentially invest in. That will allow us to stay on the edge of technology and its growth. That program is kicked off and is very successful, and we're going to be starting that. You will see some of these companies we invest in on the space station. And so we're looking to build that technology. Now, why do we do that? It'll take years for them to be big and fruitful companies, but that puts us well ahead of the technology and the growth. So why do we do all that? Because you want to be on that cutting edge of the things that are going to be big one day, right? And if we are, that means that the money and the profit, the cash that we get from investing in those comes back to us. So then our distribution isn't fixed. Our distribution grows as our companies grow as technology grows, and we're invested all along the way. And we're thinking 10 and 20 years into the future when we do it, as opposed to what we're doing right now. But I always tell people, there's an old phrase, Henry Ford used to say, if I asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And he would never have invented the car. We're thinking about the car, right? And today, we're making sure that we can make money off the faster horses. So we do them both.
Paul Shippey, original shareholder. I was wondering, I'd like to first thank CIRI for bringing the annual meeting here today. It's great. I don't always get a chance to get to Anchorage. And I was wondering what the plans are for Fire Island. I know that there's a wind power generating project going there. How's that going, and is there any other plans for that?
It's actually going fairly well. It makes a good little bit of money for us every year. There are 11 wind turbines on the island. We just refurbished several of them. They have these big generators inside the wind turbine that every so often you got to pull them out and put it back in. It was quite a huge effort, actually. It's a source of pride and prestige and example of what CIRI does when it innovates and thinks about the future. So that's a great program. There isn't much more you can add to the island, and it isn't because we don't want to. It's because the island happens to be right where the airplanes land at Ted Stevens Airport, and the new windmills are bigger, and customers don't like it when you fly against big windmills. So it's better for us to try and improve the efficiency and kind of grow that. We are invested in other wind projects. We're looking at studying other places to put wind energy, but we're also looking at energy in the gas pipeline. CIRI's the last 15 miles of the new pipeline, and we're negotiating on that. In fact, our village partners like Tyonic, Salamanov, Chris is sitting right there. We're talking about how we're going to do the right things to produce a result of good profitability from that energy resource. We're also looking at our resources at Lake Johnson Tract, which is not energy-based, but making better use of our resources there. Other energy projects that we look at are solar. We're looking at small micronuclear. So that particular island and that particular project is kind of fixed simply because we want people to come to Anchorage, right? So that's important for us. But we are looking in other areas to produce that. We have wind farms in the Midwest. We had the ones in Norway as well. So not quite Fire Island grows in any particular way, but it is one that we're maintaining. It's profitable, so no reason to turn it off. The wind's not turning off, so we just go ahead and keep money coming as the wind spins, right? So that's the answer to that. So I think this will be our last question because we're coming up on time.
Hello, I'm a descendant named Carter Vu, and I hope you're doing well. And I was wondering if there are any futures plans to increase the annual amount students can receive from the CIRI Foundation. I understand the lifetime cap is around $50,000, but the current yearly award typically ranges between $7,000 to $9,000. Is there any possibility of raising the annual limit to better support students with the growing education costs?
Sure. Completely understand that. We've had that question before. Connie Wirtz, our CEO from the CIRI Foundation, is here, and she can help answer that question. Connie?
Hi, thank you for the question. One of the things that we just did, the board has raised it with continuing education credits, CTEs, from $6,000 a year to $9,000 a year to match the university credits. And we also have raised it to $9,000 a year if you're going year-round, because we had so many people going to summer school, and so that's one of the things that we're doing. And we're also, in our retreat this year, we'll be talking about the numbers. One of the things that we have, though, is we have more applications every year. And so it's a balancing act between ensuring the endowment is continued to grow. We meet the needs of the students, but I know that that's a discussion that we have on a regular basis. We would love to be able to provide a lot more funding for everyone, but with the volume, it's a little bit of a challenge. I would ask, though, that if you are getting funded and you're struggling, you're having any kind of needs, let us know as soon as possible, because if we know ahead of time, we can work with you on a plan. That way, at the end, we don't get a thing that says, I received 0 credits, but I was funded for 15. We're really here to support you, and our whole main goal is to say yes whenever we can. We are here to make a difference for you. not just to mail out checks and count money. We also have a new alumni person and a fundraiser. So we'd love to have folks join our alumni committee and see how we can make sure that our elders are not just passing down wisdom to their family, but how can we do things in a way that's culturally supportive and makes a difference for everybody, especially for our youngest ones. Thank you.
Okay, so if we could, ma'am, Connie, would you mind talking to her after we finish the Q&A and just sit down with her for a few minutes?
She's.
For the last decade, CIRI Foundation has been giving tribal scholarship out, double scholarship. And their grade point average is 2.5, while at-large shareholders were held to a different standard up until like last year or so. Ours is needs-based, I'm not needs-based. The other thing between the shareholders and the candidates are getting an automatic double scholarship.
I'll repeat the question if you'd like. The question is, it appears that we're double dipping or being unfair because we have village scholarships and folks can get a village scholarship and a general scholarship. What happens is the villages have asked us to manage their money. So that money comes from the village, it's their money, and they set the rules on how they would like that funded. So we are basically, instead of having to have somebody apply twice, once at their village, once at CIRI, they apply once, and we give them the check that goes with our rules. Then we give them the check that goes with the rules that their board has created.
But your rules are income-based, needs-based.
No, ma'am. Everybody, I'm not sure about decades, but the last 2 years that I've been here, we give everybody the same amount. Because to me, I'm not a person that thinks it's great to have needs-based, because what if somebody's family works really hard and makes $5,000 too much to meet that? So that family's working hard and doesn't meet it, and somebody's family's working hard but does meet it, it's not equitable. So what we're doing is we're giving the money out equitably.
Okay. All right, so with that, thank you all. We are here the entire day and all the way through the election cycle that we're going to be doing. If you have further questions you'd like to talk to any of us, feel free to come up and talk to us, and we'll give you the answers to the questions that you have. If we don't, we'll put you with somebody that can get you the answers that you need. Thank you all for your time. I'm going to bring up Stephanie Aker, our Chief Legal Officer, to go over some of the things that she oversees in human resources and probate and corporate compliance. Thank you so much.
Hello, nice to see you today. My name is Stephanie Eicher. I'm Chief Legal Officer for CIRI. As a member of CIRI's legal team for more than 13 years, I oversee CIRI's legal department, human resources, benefits, probate, corporate compliance teams. I'd like to offer an important reminder about new business. Any shareholder who intends to present a resolution for consideration at this meeting must present the resolution in writing to the parliamentarian, Mr. Michael Grisham, no later than noon today. Please make sure you include your name along with the resolution. All timely resolutions will be typed by CIRI verbatim and projected onto the screen during the new business portion of our meeting. If you haven't already registered, please do so now. Registration will close at noon. And now I'd like to welcome Ms. Rhonda Oliver.
Thank you, Stephanie. For those I haven't met, I'm Rhonda Oliver. For those I have, it is nice to see you again. Thank you all for coming out today. I am on Athabascan, enrolled tribal member of the Native Village of Cantwell. My mother is an enrolled, original enrollee in Ahtna, and my Aunt Irene Pedersen is an original enrollee in CIRI. I oversee accounting operations in the Shareholder Relations Department, and I would encourage you today, if you haven't had an opportunity, to engage with our Shareholder Relations team who are here today. They are here to serve you and keep your information up to date, assist with a gift, assist with filling out a will. And if you haven't already, they're up front. They're wearing the red and green lanyards and they'll be in blue shirts. Please take an opportunity to stop by and visit with them. It really does help us keep in contact with you to be able to deliver the things we need to deliver to you, including distributions, mail, communications, all of those things. So if you get a chance, please stop by and engage with the Shareholder Relations team. And if you do, you will receive a separate ticket for a prize at the end of the day. It's our last prize drawing of the day. All you need to do is make sure your information is current and on file with us, and you should get a ticket that will enable you to be entered in the last prize drawing of the day. And that's $250, so it's well worth taking a moment if you can today to confirm your information is on file or address a will or a gifting application. And so, speaking of prizes, I got the best job of the day. We're going to do our first round of door prizes. So I want to welcome somebody up here. We've got Miss Kalina joining me today. We're going to do a round of door prizes. We have another one later in the day, and as I mentioned, the very last prize drawing of the day will be from Shareholder Relations. So this prize bucket, these are going to be blue tickets. So please get out your blue tickets. Our first cash prize today is for $50. Who's winning $50? The number 1491. 1491. All right, over here on the right. Congratulations, $50 cash. All right. And somebody was asking about culture. This is one of our favorite gifts to give out. It's a culture box. Kudos to the shareholder programs team. Darla and her team put together culture boxes. And so our number is 1379. 1379. All right, down here front. Congratulations. Oh, okay. All right, we got a gift added here from Three Soaring Eagles. This is through here, an organic ingredients, Devil's Club and Dandelion Balm, number 1469. So thank you to Three Soaring Eagles for this donation. 1469. Who's winning? All right, down front. Congratulations. Thank you, Tisha. All right. Okay. I know somebody's going to want this one. Are we ready? $100 cash. All right. 1402. 1402. Who's got the $100? We find a winner? All right. Congratulations. Oh. We get another lucky $100 winner. Another $100 cash on number 1345. 1345. Who's taking home $100 today? 1345. All right, way to go, Sam. Congratulations. Okay. So our next gift, I want to give a shout out to the CIRI Foundation for donating this gift. Much appreciated. This is awesome. It is a Paroque kit. We got a Le Creuset pan, a locally sourced salmon, a Paroque recipe card, putting up fish on the Kenai publication, and some other wonderful gifts in there, and a $100 grocery gift card. So thank you, TCF, for your contribution. It is much appreciated. Number 1319. 1319, down there in the back. Congratulations. All right. I know we're going to like this one. It's another $100 cash. 1466. Who's 1466 winning $100? Oh, right down here. Outstanding. All right. And a special thank you to South Central Foundation for this gift. We have a gift bag from South Central Foundation. There's a fleece vest, some tumbler, and some other goodies inside. So thank you, South Central Foundation. And our number is 1389. 1389. Who's 1389? In the back? All right. Congratulations. All right. We have another CIRI culture box. Number 1410. 1410. Oh, over here on the right. Okay. All right. Looks like we have a donation from KNBA. It's a lovely gift bag. It's got a travel blanket, card, and a travel mug in there. So thank you to KNBA. We appreciate that. And the number is 1380. Oh, right down front. Congratulations. All right. Are we ready for another $100 cash? 1417. 1417. Who's taking home $100? 1417. Got to be present to win. 1417 going once. 1417 going twice. 1417, your last chance for $100. All right. They lose out. We get another pick. 1395. 1395. Down in the back for $100. And I know we're really going to like this one, probably twice as much as the last one. $200 cash. Who's wanting $200 cash today? Everyone. Yep. 1322. Our lucky number is 1322. All right. Congratulations. All right. And one more $200 cash. 1348. 1348. Who's taking home $200? In the back, very, very back, by the door. Congratulations. All right. And I gotta say, my favorite prize of the day. Very excited for this one. This is a Yeti cooler with a blueberry motif that will store a lot of picnic goodies, camping goodies, or other things that you can put in there, salmon, fish, other items. So a lovely Yeti cooler. And the lucky number is 1306. 1306. Who's putting up fish in the Yeti cooler? 1306. Anybody? Going once? 1306. Going twice? 1306 is gone. All right, your lucky number might be in here. See who's next. 1312. 1312. In the back? All right, congratulations. Yeah, thank you. All right, and I also have the lucky job of letting you know that our lunch is almost ready. And so lunch is ready, Sonia said. But before we dive into lunch, I just want to announce that we would love to serve our elders. If they were not given a little red flag, please raise your hand. It would be our honor to bring you a lunch today. And we're going to ask that Wanda give us a blessing before we start serving lunch. And so Wanda, I think, is over, she had a mic coming to her. Oh, right here, down in the middle. Thank you, Wanda, for giving us a blessing before we start for lunch.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and give us our blessing in Inupiaq, the way that they've taught our children at the Nekechot Ilisarvate. So if everyone could please stand if you're able. Kikakichi. Okay. Kuya repterin agayun nekik shakak telokap tegut. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. As I mentioned, if you need assistance with lunch or would like one of us to bring you lunch, please just raise your hand. Otherwise, there will be lines set up on both sides of the auditorium. Thank you.
Registration is now closed. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our Inspector of Election and Parliamentarian, Mr. Michael Grisham. Mr. Michael Grisham will fulfill the roles of both parliamentarian and Inspector of Election. As the Inspector of Election, he is an impartial person, authorized by statute and CIRI bylaws, among other duties. The inspector impartially certifies the number of shares outstanding and eligible to vote at a meeting. The inspector verifies the existence of a quorum, and the inspector determines the number of shares represented at the meeting and oversees an independent accounting firm that counts the proxy and ballot votes. The inspector then certifies the election results in accordance with the law and CIRI's election procedures and rules of conduct for shareholder meetings. Mr. Grisham is of counsel with the law firm Dorsey & Whitney in Anchorage. He has retained the Anchorage accounting firm Shramick Hightower to assist him in proxy collection and tabulation. The parliamentarian enforces the procedures for electing directors and transacting new business. He also ensures the annual meeting is conducted in accordance with the CIRI election procedures and rules of conduct for shareholder meetings. Mr. Grisham has subscribed an oath to perform his duties in connection with the June 7th, 2025 annual meeting of the shareholders of Cook Inlet Region, Inc., with strict impartiality and in accordance to the best of his abilities. If you're voting today in person and not by proxy, you should have received a ballot when you registered. Shareholders voting in person should mark your votes on the ballot, and when you are through, put your ballot in the ballot box located in the exhibit hall near the shareholder relations table. If you're a proxy holder representing other CIRI shareholders, you will receive your ballot from Mr. Grisham. Any shareholder who intends to present a resolution for consideration in this meeting has already presented it to Mr. Grisham at this time. Mr. Swamy, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, it is now 12:40, and I call the 2025 annual meeting of CIRI shareholders to order. We will proceed with the official business of this annual meeting. I call Cynthia Muller, Corporate Secretary, for her report.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chair, I have available a list of the holders of the common stock of CIRI at the close of business on April 8th, 2025, which was the date of record for this annual meeting. This list has been certified by me as the corporate secretary. I also have available a copy of the notice of annual meeting, a proxy form, a proxy statement, and a CIRI annual report to shareholders for this fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, together with my affidavit as to mailing of the notice to each person who was a holder of common stock of CIRI at the close of business on April 8th, 2025, and entitled to the vote at this meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Muller. Mr. Grisham, are you ready to present your report to us on the attendance of the holders of common stock of CIRI who are present at today's meeting in person or represented by proxy?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can report that shareholders holding 254,973.634 shares of common stock of CIRI are present in person today or represented by proxy. Since there were 548,549.576 shares of common stock of CIRI outstanding and entitled to vote or to be counted for quorum purposes as of April 8, 2025, the date of record for this meeting, more than one-third of the outstanding voting stock is represented in person or by proxy, and so in accordance with Article 2, Section 5A of the CIRI bylaws, a quorum is present.
Thank you, Mr. Grisham. Since a quorum is present, the 52nd annual meeting of CIRI shareholders is duly and regularly constituted. We will therefore proceed to the official business of this meeting. Do we have the approval of the minutes slides, please? Okay. Copies of the annual meeting minutes from 2024, along with other materials, were published in the proxy statement and are available at registration today. We will now entertain a motion for the adoption of those minutes. Okay, let the record note that Mr. Greg Craig has made the motion to approve. Do I have a second? John Estabrook and Michael Bowling for the second. It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the 2024 annual meeting of CIRI shareholders as presented. Are there any corrections? Okay, hearing no corrections, are there any objections to approving the minutes of the 2024 annual meeting of CIRI shareholders as presented? Okay, hearing no objections, the minutes are approved as printed. I will now turn the podium over to Mr. Grisham to describe the election procedures.
We now turn to the nominations and elections portion of the meeting. The meeting shall be conducted pursuant to the CIRI election procedures and rules of conduct for shareholder meetings, which were adopted by the CIRI Board of Directors. A copy of these procedures and the rules document is available at the registration table in the lobby. The election of directors is your next order of business. Pursuant to Article 3, Section 3 of the CIRI bylaws today, there will be 5 directors elected for 3-year terms, which will end in June of 2028. The floor will be open for nominations, and each nominee will be allowed to make a 3-minute speech. One of the candidates was unavailable today due to illness and has requested that a 3-minute excerpt of a video presentation he had made to shareholders earlier this year be substituted in his stead. If you are a proxy holder representing other CIRI shareholders, you will receive your ballot from me. Each proxy holder should come up here when his or her name is called to receive the proxy holder ballot. If you're voting in person today and not by proxy, you should have received a ballot from Mickey when you registered. Shareholders voting in person should mark your votes on that ballot, and when you are through, put your ballot in the ballot box located in the exhibit hall near the shareholder relations table where you picked up your ballot. If there are any questions about the balloting process, please let me know. Hearing none, after the ballots are turned in, I'll begin counting and tabulating the votes and will announce the preliminary results when they're determined. Results will remain preliminary until certified, which I will do in writing to CIRI as soon as possible after today's meeting. We're now ready to receive nominations for persons to stand for election as directors, and I will briefly explain the procedures to be followed for making nominations. Nominations for director may be made by any shareholder of CIRI. When you make a nomination, please use one of the microphones, identify yourself by name, and affirm that you are a CIRI shareholder. After you have identified yourself and affirmed that you are a CIRI shareholder, state the full name of each person you are nominating. As a reminder, only voting shareholders of CIRI over the age of 18 may serve as a director. When nominations and candidate speeches have been completed, we will move on to voting. And Mr. Chair, the podium is yours to receive nominations.
Thank you, Mr. Grisham. I will now welcome nominations of candidates from the floor. Please note, nominations may only be made by CIRI shareholders for CIRI shareholders. Again, when making a nomination, please clearly state your full name and affirm that you are a CIRI shareholder before stating the full name of the person you are nominating. So at this point, are there nominations to be made?
Mr. Chair, my name is Michael Bowling, the mysterious disappearing director, and I am a CIRI original shareholder. I hereby nominate the following individuals to stand for election as directors to the 3-year period ending in June of 2028. Margaret L. Brown, Gregory L. Craig, Thomas P. Hundorf, Cale V. Tolbert, Carlo K. Wick.
Thank you, Mr. Bowling. Are there any further nominations from the floor?
Hello, Mr. Chair. I'm a CIRI shareholder. My name is Delaney Thiel, and I would proudly like to nominate Tiffany Tudiakoff.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Steele, and Ms. Tudikoff is now duly nominated from the floor. Are there any further nominations? Okay, having no further nominations, I declare the nominations are closed. Shareholders who received a ballot today that need to leave early and already know how you want to vote in the election of directors, you may mark your ballot and deposit it in the ballot box in the lobby near the registration tables. Voting on any resolutions introduced today will occur later in the agenda, and you must be present at that time to vote on resolutions. All right. I now call upon Mr. Grisham, the Inspector of Elections, to distribute the proxy holder ballots and discuss the voting process.
I'm now about to distribute proxy holder ballots, which Chief Legal Officer Aker is obtaining as we speak from the registration desk. They will be distributed to those persons who have been given proxies for this meeting. The names of all proxy holders and the voting power of the proxies that each one has been given have been printed and will be distributed to proxy holders along with their ballots. So when I receive them here, I will announce each of your names and I will ask you to come up to the table here to receive each of these ballots as they're being printed. I'm usually the butt of jokes, and I usually don't tell them very well myself, but the Shuck and Jive Act holds those. My apologies for this delay. That's a good joke. Oh, that usually only happens during my jury presentations. So. I have been informed that there are no proxy holders in the room today, so that the proxy holder name list that we've all been waiting so long for has now concluded. Thank you for the crickets. They were apt and much appreciated.
I'll go too far. All right. I would now ask Mr. Grisham to please take the podium to explain the process and facilitate candidate speeches. If you could hold your crickets and applause to the end, I would appreciate it. Mr. Grisham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Each nominated candidate who's now present is invited to give a 3-minute speech. To keep moving through the agenda and to finish the meeting some semblance of being on time, I will enforce the 3-minute time limit. As a courtesy to each speaker, there's a timekeeper who will hold up a yellow card. There it is. And notifying you when you have 1 minute remaining, and a red card. There's the red card holding you, reminding you when you have 30 seconds remaining. The CIRI board recommended candidates will speak first, followed by the single write-in candidate. And we will start with Ms. Margaret L. Brown. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this annual meeting. I have been so long associated with CIRI, I can't even count the number of annual meetings that I've been at. I do remember the first one, however, where we were lined up single file down 4th Avenue in front of the 4th Avenue Theater waiting to register. And so I think now with how things are run and how smoothly things are run, how far we have come in the governance of our great company. So I'm, as you heard, Margaret Brown. I go by Margie Brown. I've had a long association with CIRI, including one of the honors of my life, which was to be your president and CEO for 8 years. I worked with CIRI in its land department, and I have worked various positions in CIRI, including that last one as president and CEO. I'm asking for your support to serve another 3 years on the board of directors. This will be my final time seeking a term. We do have term limits, but in spite of that, it would be time in 2028 for me to let this next generation of directors carry on. Swami talked about mission, and I want to speak a bit about mission. I mean, we took a bold move a couple years ago when we brought Swami on. Not an Alaska Native, not an Alaskan, but we believed he was going to be the change agent that we wanted. And I feel he has embraced our mission like many of us have held for years. I remember when Carl and I worked for Roy Hundorf, it was all about mission and keeping our company afloat. CIRI was predicted to be the first Alaska Native Regional Corporation to fail. And we just were not going to allow that to happen. So it's always been for people at CIRI, the mission. And I want to thank the executive leadership team and the staff that we have here for staying on board and embracing this change with us and allowing for a smooth transition. That means so much. Change, I believe in change. I believe in the change agent. I believe in the direction we're going. But I also believe that we can learn a lot from our history. And Roy and I served this position for a while because we have such a long history, and I feel that I can do that again. So again, I would seek your support. I would love to serve another 3 years. It's been an honor to be associated with you all these years and working hard to secure CIRI's future and live up to its promise of its mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. The next speaker is Mr. Gregory L. Craig. If you could please come to the podium.
Thank you, sir. Hello, hello. So nice to see you. One of my favorite duties of the year is being at our shareholder meetings and annual meetings to now see so many old friends and always meet new people. So, like Margie, thank you very much for being here and taking the time to come and be with us today. So, I'm pretty much known around the board for being long-winded, so I brought my phone to keep myself on time so I didn't hear the playoff music at the end. So my background, like Margie, many of us are so fortunate that we started young with CIRI. I actually started at CIRI when I was 19 years old as an intern, and some now 10 years later, no, actually, it's been 40 years of association with CIRI across a number of different areas, working as a little intern. I have already thanked Connie and everyone associated with the CIRI Foundation. Were it not for the CIRI Foundation, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you, as it allowed me to get my MBA at UCLA and then come back in some other capacities for CIRI. And ultimately, I'm just finishing up my first 3-year term on the board. So that's been a great privilege. It's an honor. And I will share with you that we are stewards on the board of all of you and us. And our real role, and I'll make it simple in a short period of time, my focus areas, if we really come down to simple, as a board member of CIRI, are these 3 things. Listen carefully. Listen to the shareholders. You'll tell us what is bothering you. You'll tell us what you need. And we should have a sense of it. My mom, passed now, but wonderful mom, was an original shareholder. And I often wonder, I listen for what she would tell me to do in certain situations. It's a good metric. Secondly, we're here to be professional governors. Governance is a big part of being on the board. And lastly, and this is again, I'm hearing my mom's voice, make more money so we can make more distributions. So those are really the 3 big drivers for me as a board. And like Margie, I also thank you for your trust for the last 3 years. I'd be honored to serve in my 2nd term as a board member and continue, hopefully, to be a great steward for our wonderful and growing group of shareholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. He's much taller than I am and better looking. The next speaker in line was Mr. Thomas P. Huendorf. Mr. Huendorf, unfortunately, was ill and made the socially acceptable choice not to share his illness with the rest of you and couldn't be present today. But he has requested that we present the shareholders here with a 3-minute video excerpt from his speech to shareholders at the recent candidate informational meeting held by CIRI. So the assistants here will present Mr. Huendorf now. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, yesterday we had the same meeting where we were speaking with the Kenai shareholders, and after that, or as a result of it, I was asked, for today to, leave that Huendorf, leave that lefty stuff out of your talk. So about politics. So I'm going to devote the next 15 minutes talking about it. Just kidding. So anyway, my name is Thomas Huendorf, and I'm one of the 5 directors that's seeking re-election. And there's a couple things I'd like to talk to you about, rather than say election stuff, but and one of them is the power of gifting shares to descendants. A third of our board right now consists of shareholders that were descendants, that were gifted shares. And there's going to be more of that because the board has instituted term limits a while back. So the older ones will kind of roll off the board, new people will come in, but they will need at least 1 share of stock in order to serve. And what that allows us as a company is to be able to go reach out into the vast population of CIRI shareholders and touch the ones that are, say, all that have we've made investments in, say, over the years, the CIRI Foundation, or they made investments in themselves for they're educated. And that's what, we're going to need. We're going to need more and more of that. So I ask each one of you, if you haven't done it, think about gifting at least 1 share to a descendant. And actually, it occurs to me that even the write-in candidate today is a descendant. 2 of the recommended board slate are descendants. So it is working. We're able to reach out. People are coming forward. So again, please think about that. In 2004 is when I was first elected to the board. And I'd run a couple of independent campaigns prior to that, rather acrimonious ones. Some of you that are original shareholders and probably older now remember those. But at that time, I kind of forced myself onto the board. But within just a few years of work, they realized I was there, I was serious, I wasn't there to run the train off the tracks, whatever. But and then I think by 2014, I was actually elected the chairman of the board for a few years. And I'd like to close with what an honor that has been. Not everybody is able to serve in this capacity. And to be able to do that is, I don't know, probably beyond words for me. But it's something, my service, I think I have done it with integrity. Made some mistakes, I'm sure, along the way, but still, my intent was to serve in the best capacity that I could think of for the shareholders. And so I'd ask all of you to consider voting for me in the board slate. And it's also important to listen to the independent candidates too, which will give you an option other than the board slate. So I wish them well myself. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening to me. And again, I hope I deserve your vote. Thank you.
Those are remarks from Mr. Hundorf. And next coming to the stand will be Mr. Cale V. Tolbert.
Good afternoon. My name is Cale Talbert, and I'm honored to be here today as a candidate for the CIRI Board of Directors. I was born and raised in Bristol Bay, Alaska, where my family and I hunted for subsistence, smoked fish, and picked berries for the freezer. I also made a living as a commercial fisherman for 16 years alongside my family. Those years in Bristol Bay instilled in me a deep respect for the land, waters, and resources that are so important to our communities. They also taught me the values of resilience, hard work, and the importance of sustainable practices. I carry these values and respect with me today. I left Alaska for higher education, earning degrees in electrical engineering, business, and law. I currently live here in the Seattle area and serve as senior legal counsel at a cutting-edge artificial intelligence company, where I advise on technology, law, and business strategy. My career has given me substantial experience in corporate governance, risk management, and strategic planning, skills that are essential in guiding a diverse and dynamic corporation like CIRI. I've also had the privilege of serving on the board of CITC Enterprises, Inc., where I've worked toward the goal of providing CITC with financial independence, ensuring that its strategies align with the interests and values of our shareholders. Through this experience, I've gained valuable insights into effective governance, financial stewardship, and the importance of balancing growth with long-term sustainability. If elected to the CIRI board, I'll focus on 3 key areas. 1, sustainable growth. I'll work to ensure that CIRI continues to thrive financially while preserving and protecting the land and resources that are important to our communities. 2, innovation and opportunity. My background in technology and business gives me a unique perspective to identify and pursue emerging opportunities that can drive new revenue streams for CIRI and benefit our shareholders. 3, shareholder-centric leadership. I'm committed to making decisions that reflect the values and best interests of CIRI shareholders, promoting transparency and ensuring meaningful shareholder benefits. I'm deeply committed to the mission of CIRI, to serve its shareholders and strengthen the Native community. I believe my blend of experience in business, technology, and governance makes me well-positioned to contribute to the future success of our corporation. I respectfully ask for your vote and your opportunity to help guide CIRI toward a prosperous and sustainable future. Thank you for your time. Consider it.
Thank you, Mr. Tolbert. Our next speaker will be Carlo Wick.
Hello, and it's a great honor to be here in the Pacific Northwest. Come see our lower 48 shareholders. My name's Carlo Wick. I've been preparing for this role, unbeknownst to me, for all my professional career, I guess. I currently serve as the chairman of a village corporation underneath CIRI, Salamatoff Native Association. I'm the chairman there. I'm the vice chair of a nonprofit under CIRI, Cook Inlet Tribal Council. I serve as the vice chair there. I also serve providing fish for our natives in our area in Kenai. I'm the chairman of the Hunting, Fishing, Gathering Commission in Kenai, and we operate an educational fishery net in the mouth of the Kenai and provide moose and all kinds of natural resources for our tribal members. Currently, I'm also the chairman of the TDHE, Tribal Designated Housing Entity, Kenaitze Salamatoff Tribal Designated Housing Entity. We are currently building a 36-unit senior housing facility in Kenai, and that's very exciting. It has been a 30-year goal to get that started, and it's come to fruition. Being up here, it is like I've been called up to the major leagues. It's pretty exciting to be here in front of you in the Pacific Northwest and talk to you. I also want to thank the CIRI board and the executive team for the great choice that they made in their CIRI shareholder president, Tabitha Toloff. Great choice. I want to focus on the gifting of shares. We have original shareholders. That's great. None of us last forever. I want you to think about gifting your shares. Do it today. Don't wait till you pass. Give your shares now. See the benefit that these shares will have to your offspring. This is a great opportunity. Sets them on a course of success. It'll change their lives. I highly encourage you to do that. I'm well versed in the native ecosystem, all my experience in these various roles. I know all the leaders around this area. I forgot to mention I'm self-employed. That gives me the flexibility to do all these things. If I had to clock in, I wouldn't have time to do this. I own a upholstery shop in Kenai. I work with my hands. I'm here to serve you. CIRI is forever. I thank you for this opportunity, and thank you. Just thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wick. And our last speaker will be floor-nominated candidate Tiffany Tudikoff.
Good job on pronouncing my name. Thank you, by the way. Good afternoon. Many of you know me as the write-in candidate with the very difficult to spell last name. I thought maybe I'd come up with a song to teach shareholders how to spell it, but I made the wise choice to do postcards instead. My name is Tiffany Tudikoff, and I'm a CIRI shareholder, and I'm daughter of Gloria B. Thiel, and I'm the granddaughter of Reinhold and Gloria D. Thiel. I'm Yupik and Athabascan, and I was born and raised in Anchorage, and I've lived and worked all over Alaska. I have a passion for public service, and I love my CIRI family. I'm a CIRI Foundation scholarship and grant recipient. I got my start in communications more than 20 years ago as a CIRI intern, and I serve on the board for the Alaska Native Heritage Center. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, executive, and communications professional. I own Future Elder, formerly known as Northwest Strategies, which is Alaska's largest brand marketing and communications firm. Over the last 25 years, I've focused my efforts on solving problems for clients across business sectors and industries, working extensively with tribal, local, state, and federal governments, nonprofits, and Native American and Alaska Native entities. Notable categories include retail, hospitality, tourism, natural resources, telecommunications, construction, healthcare, public and tribal health, public safety, and housing. You can learn more about me at tiffanyforsiri.com. I knew when I didn't apply for the board-endorsed slate, running for the board would be an uphill climb. But I'm here for the long haul. So I intend to run again next year because of what our shareholders mean to me and because I will add incredible value. Through active shareholder engagement, I've confirmed what I've always known, which is that shareholders are by and large disenfranchised. They don't feel heard, and they have serious concerns that are not being addressed. My personal philosophy, nothing about us without us, means I will advocate for shareholder input on any and all decisions that directly impact us. It also means I will promote for proactive and consistent two-way communication with shareholders to ensure accountability. If elected, I will dedicate my time to bringing your voice back into the boardroom and ensuring greater transparency from CIRI to our shareholders. Finally, I just want to share that I am so incredibly humbled by the outpouring of support from all of you. I've been gifted prayers from elders, received handwritten cards and letters of support, public shout-outs, countless direct messages, phone calls, and texts. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your support. Koyana.
Thank you, Ms. Tudiakoff. That concludes the candidate speeches.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grisham. The time is now 1:15, and voting will continue for 30 minutes till approximately 1:45 p.m. We will then check the voting status and will extend the voting period if any proxy holders need additional time to cast their ballots. We will now move on to new business. Mr. Grisham, will you now take the podium to conduct the voting on any timely submitted resolutions?
Thank you. This year, there were no binding resolutions that appeared on the CIRI proxy. But earlier today, as you heard, shareholders were invited to present resolutions for consideration at this meeting. There was one timely received resolution presented to me in writing earlier today. This resolution is a floor resolution and is therefore advisory only. It has not been reviewed for legality, and because floor resolutions are advisory and not binding on CIRI, no effort has been made to revise or edit them or to delete resolutions that relate to matters that may be inappropriate for shareholder action. I will read this resolution as shown on the screen, and then we'll call for you to mark your ballots for, against, or abstaining on this resolution. Individual shareholders who are not represented today by proxy and who choose to vote in person should use the ballots that you received when you registered this morning to vote on the resolutions. If you can present the first resolution, is it up there? Yes. Okay. This resolution is presented by shareholder Tone Hicklin. Ms. Hicklin resolves for Zoom meetings for shareholders so we can all participate. And that is the completion of the resolutions. Thank you.
Okay, so we just tell people they should go vote. Statement. Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Grisham. Seeing that we've had the one resolution on the floor, we'll go ahead and take about a 30-minute break. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to visit the service provider and artist tables out of the lobby. We'll reconvene in about 30 minutes. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Grisham. I'm going to welcome Darla up to the stage.
Thank you, Swami. All right. I would like to introduce individually and recognize members of our CIRI Participation Committee, which is made up of shareholders and descendants. I'm going to call them by name. When you hear your name, if you could stand and wave and stay standing, and please hold applause until I get through this list of names, and then we'll give everybody a big round of applause at the end. Angela Averett. We're here. Anna Stefan. She might have taken off. All right. Brady Kent. Brandy Dixon. Brittany Brown. Okay. Kalia Gotthard. I just saw her walk out. Oh, there she is. Hi, Kalia. Charles Lee Jr. Chris Cord had to take off as well. Evan Shannon. Hannah Strand. Janaea Cordova. Jennifer Johnson. Oh, right there. Catherine Corcoran. Carrie Garrison. Madeline Thompson. She's out front. Oh, right here. Okay. Mark Teresen. Michael Hayward. Patrick Johnson. Sam Schimmel. Sarah Martinchick. Oh, Sarah's in the back. Sitka Coppage. Is she here? Travis Helms. You're here. Valerie Anderson. Virginia Wolf. We'll give you guys the biggest round of applause ever in a second, I promise. I'm almost done. Wanda Baltazar. And Wesley Little. All right, let's give these guys a huge round of applause. Thank you guys so much for your dedication to serving on the committee. You guys are an incredible voice for our shareholders, and you represent our shareholders and descendants so well and communicate such good information to our team, to our executive team, that helps us do better for all of you. So thank you guys for your commitment. These guys are in the middle, halfway through a 2-year term. So next summer, we will be recruiting for the next 2-year cohort to go through the committee. So if you have any questions about their service, any questions about what they learned, they spent all day with our executive team yesterday. If you have any questions about what they learned, they asked all the right hard questions. Please, please, please talk with them today. Thank you guys again very much for your service on the committee. Okay, we're going to move on to some fun stuff. Well, not that that wasn't fun, but some really fun youth things. So we are going to talk about who voted in our youth voting, and we're going to award some prizes. And I'm going to have Jordan Ransom, who is our program specialist, and Brooke Shirosky, who is our programs coordinator, come help hand out the prizes. They picked out these prizes. They ran the youth program voting booth and have done a great job. So CIRI, a little bit about the program, why they're coming up. So CIRI started this youth voting program back in 2009. And this was to help teach CIRI youth about the voting process, the importance of voting, and have them be involved and engaged in the annual meeting. So today, there were 2 ballots that our youth received in the different age groups. The first is a simplified ballot that is kindergarten through 6th grade. And this age group voted on their favorite native superpower. What was the winner? Yeah. Traditional healing. It's a valid superpower. I love it. The second ballot was available for teens 13 to 17, and they voted on what they thought the next youth initiative would be. And they were eligible for prizes. Do we know the winner of what that one was? Cultural workshops, and I have heard that from several of you today. So we definitely hear that, and we will be working on things. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jordan. She's going to announce the prize winners, and if you hear your name, please come up, or if you hear your youth and your family's name, please feel free to come up and grab the prize. They do not have to be present to win, so if they are not here, they took off, we will get the prizes to them. But I'll turn it over to Jordan.
Thank you, Darla. Oh, I'm fun size, so I gotta move this down a bit. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm super excited to announce some really fun prizes today. The first prizes we'll be giving away are for kindergarten through 5th grade. The first prize includes a comic book, a bucket hat, a tote bag, and some sealskin yo-yos. And the winner for that is Gemma Gonzalez. Gemma Gonzalez? All right. If she's not here, we will mail you your prizes. The next prize for kindergarten through 5th grade is a Trickster basketball, a You Are Native Land beanie, a blanket, comic book, and more. And the winner for that prize is Ensley Hascom. Do you have Ensley Hascom? Oh, congrats, Ensley. All right, some fun things. All right. The next prizes are for grades 6 through 12. The first prize also includes a Trickster basketball, a bucket hat, blanket, comic book, tote bag, and stickers. And the winner for that is Grace Vu. Do you have Grace Vu? Congratulations, Grace. All right. And the second and final prize for grades 6 through 12 includes a beanie, a blanket, tote bag, comic book, and a Trickster skateboard right there. All right, and the winner is, drum roll, is Olivia Zubia. Olivia! Congratulations. All right, come back next year, kids, and vote. There's some awesome prizes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jordan, and thank you to all of the youth that voted this year. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tabitha, our president. She is going to announce the 2025 e-vote and early bird prize winners and also lead our second round of door prizes.
Okay. Okay. Do the other prizes? Okay. We're going to do the Evite prizes in a minute as soon as I get the list. Right now, we are going to do another big drawing for door prizes. This is round 2. There's a bunch of awesome prizes available, so I need some numbers. Okay. Exciting. Okay, so we are going to give away $50 cash to number 1323. Right over there. Congratulations. The next prize is going to be one of our fantastic culture boxes that our program staff made. And that's going to go to 1494. 1494. 1494. Going once. Going twice. Okay. Try another one for the culture box. 1407. I heard a... Congratulations. All right, now we have $100 cash. 1445. Okay, back there. Awesome. Oh, the NYO Native Youth Olympic sweatshirt. This is one of CITC's programs they do in Anchorage. The number is 1315. This is a very special sweatshirt. Congratulations. And another $100 cash to 1384. Over here. Congratulations. And we have a South Central Foundation gift bag that has a fleece vest, a tumbler, and all kinds of other goodness. That's what it says, goodness. The number is 1297. Bingo. Three Soaring Eagles. Ooh, we have a gift from Three Soaring Eagles. It is some Devil's Club Sweet Sleep Balm. Devil's Club is good stuff. The number is 1406. Way over there, back there. You see her? Okay. KNBA, our native radio and news channel out of Anchorage. It's a gift bag with travel blanket and a travel mug and other goodies. That number is 1409. Is that ticket still here? Over there. Boy, our CPC winners are lucky today. Okay. $100 cash? $100 cash. 1394. Congratulations. And another culture box. Oops. 1490. Over there, perfect. One of our youth. $150 cash. 1337. 1337. Another KNBA bag to 1354. 1354. Boots! Congrats. Oh, okay. Whew. That cooler is something else. I am jealous of whoever gets that. 200 cash. 1495. 1495. Connie can't win, so she gave her ticket. Right on, Preston. Congrats. Another $200 in cash. 1396. Wow. Our CIRI participation committee members are lucky today. So you should get on the committee so you can be lucky too. What are we doing? Okay, so we have several $200 cash prizes, each one of which has been donated by a number of our board members. So that's very generous. This first one is 1372. Thank you to our board members and congratulations. Another one, 1313. That sounds like a lucky number. That's awesome. 1387. 1387. future president right there. 1317. Back there. Excellent. I'm so glad people are still here. Okay. Two more. 1470. Right on, one of our artists. Congratulations. It's like The Price is Right. I just dated myself. Okay, one more of those. 1385. Woohoo! Yeah. That's awesome. Is this it? The cooler? Oh, wow. Okay, this cooler is a prized drawing. It's a Yeti cooler. We get it, and then we stick our own logo. We stick our logo on pretty much everything. And so this is awesome. All right. 1346. Right on. Congratulations. I want one of those coolers.
I'm going to come up and share with Tabitha here. So up on the screen is the individuals that won the e-vote and the early bird prizes. These individuals submitted their proxies in advance of today's meeting, either via electronic proxy, which qualified them for the e-vote, as well as early bird prizes, or by completing and returning their proxy. So congratulations to our winners for those prizes. Now, while election results are being tabulated, let's take a break. I hope you grabbed a snack, and if you didn't, there's snacks located on both sides. Please stop by and visit shareholder and descendant table artists and visit with fellow CIRI shareholders and members of the executive team, and we're going to reconvene.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I will now call upon Mr. Michael Grisham, our Inspector of Election, to check on the progress in tabulating the ballots for the election of directors.
Thank you, Mr. Iyer. Tabulation of ballots is ongoing, but we do have enough information at this stage to announce preliminary results. Based on the count thus far, I anticipate the following nominees will be elected as directors of CIRI. Ms. Margaret L. Brown. Mr. Gregory L. Craig. Mr. Thomas P. Hundorf.
Mr. Cale V. Tolbert. And Mr. Carlo V. Wick. The resolution votes are still being tabulated, and those results will be reported to CIRI as soon as they are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grisham. In accordance with the advice of the Inspector of Election and subject to his certification of these results, Margaret L. Brown, Gregory L. Craig, Thomas P. Hundorf, Cale V. Tolbert, and Carlo K. Wick have been elected directors of CIRI to serve until the annual meeting of shareholders of CIRI to be held in June of 2028. The preliminary report of Mr. Michael Grisham as Inspector of Election is hereby accepted. On behalf of the shareholders of CIRI, thank you to Mr. Grisham for your assistance in this meeting. Once certified, we will post the results of the election of directors and voting on the resolutions on the shareholder recording and at CIRI.com. Election results will also be published in the Raven Circle newsletter along with the names of the prize winners. Ladies and gentlemen, as there no other business has been properly come before this meeting, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time. All right. Second, from Mr. Luigi and Mr. Jeff Gonneson. The motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. Is there any objections to the motion? All right. The motion passes without objection, and the 52nd annual meeting of CIRI is adjourned at 2:20 p.m. Before you go, Rhonda and Tabitha are on their way up to the stage for our last round of prize drawing, including our special shareholder relations drawing worth $250.
And before Swami leaves, I'm going to put him on the spot. I'm going to have him pick the ticket. Now, this is your gold ticket. So if you went to the shareholder relations desk and filled out, asked questions, everything, you put a ticket in here, so.
All right, and our lucky number is 4172.
For $250 cash.
All right.
Congratulations. Thank you for visiting our shareholder relations. Thank you for coming.
Stephanie, is that everything on the script? All right, y'all can go home if you want.
Or you can stick around and ask Swami more questions. He loves answering questions.